We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? You think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Vergil's Son. This is part 4, and once again, I'm not surprised that this is one of my most popular what ifs on the channel. So yeah, don't worry, updates are not going to be slow or anything like that. I just have to try and balance things out on this channel, to be honest. Not to mention, I'm planning on doing some things differently with this what if, unlike my past what ifs. I'm not going to be taking fanfiction territory if that's what you guys are wondering, but I will be taking at least some liberties. So, with all that said, let's go through a quick recap. With the last part going over that of Izuku spending some time with that of his older brother, Nero, and as they work together alongside that of Nico to take care of demons all across that of Japan, where he's working and training for that of the UA entrance exam that's coming up in the coming of months. The relationship between the three is kind of unique, actually. Nero kind of sees Izuku almost like that of a devil, like a little assistant, even telling them about that of their family line, more on his point of view and how he experienced it, from experiencing that with that of Dante, also with that of Vergil, and everything else like that. Even Nero feeling weird around that of his new stepmom being Inko. Not to mention the last job that they took on, which was basically taking care of a high-ranking demon, otherwise known as a devil, at Dagobah Beach, where it's basically been protecting the beach because people have been constantly leaving garbage on it, turning it into an illegal dump. With not only that, Izuku also met with that of a unique individual who was at the beach at the time, being Mei Hatsune, up-and-coming support inventor. While Nero and Izuku, mainly Izuku, were fighting against that of the devil, otherwise known as Oracle, who has that of unique power and magic, Izuku was able to get the wind over her, mainly because of him using strategy, tactics, and her own biases to beat her. Was able to defeat her while promising to clean her beach, and she becoming his new style, otherwise known as the sorcerer style, giving him access to that of an arsenal of magic. However, it also led to that of Nico and Mei also meeting with one another, and let's just say Izuku's nightmare with that of 2 gear nuts in his life have just gone up 10 times more. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? A few months have now gone by, and it's almost time for the UA entrance exam. Only 4 more months left until the exam begins. And let's just say the months have now been a lot more longer than they need to be. Mainly because of Mei always hanging around that of Nico. Heck, there are even times when that of her parents basically blowing up her phone because she skipped school just to hang out with Nico. And let's just also say Izuku was dragged into the conversation too. But for some weird reason, they basically allowed it only for one condition. And it mainly involves Izuku. As Izuku was asked by her parents to continue to look after May after all, because she doesn't have that many friends. She mainly is always working on her support gear, and she constantly blows past other people just for her own sakes. And even though that they're also support inventors themselves, they don't want their daughter to basically become that of a social outcast. Hearing all this, Izuku, too much of a sob story and sucker, basically decided to befriend May. And not only that, he also became somewhat of her guinea pig when it came to making that of her support gears. Especially a certain support gear that she's making specifically for Izuku when he begins that of the UA entrance exam. And let's just say Izuku has somewhat been worried and scared for his safety since then. Right after finishing up school, he heads straight for Dagobah Beach, completing his promise for that of the devil he absorbed after all. Being Oracle, gaining the sorcery style, he decided to do what he promised, clean up the beach, no matter what. And it's been a pretty good process. He almost got at least halfway the beach done, thanks to that of his sorcery style. And also, before he starts cleaning up, he always contacts that of Nico and May to make sure that they want to scavenge anything for at least a good, hour and a half before he decides to clean everything up. He does this at least every day while he can. Sure, he could have basically cleaned the beach a lot more quicker if he didn't ask them, and possibly be done in that of a month or two. But Izuku's a nice guy. He knows on how much that being in a place like this is a gold mine for support inventors. So he at least wants his friends to succeed in their own field, even if it means making him having to suffer. Finishing up cleaning another area and section of that of the beach, as he still has at least a little bit left, but nothing too much. But then I'm heading to that of the street. Before then, noticing that of Nero and that of Nico's band. But then saying, hey Nero, what's up? As Nero soon walks up to his little bro saying, finished up cleaning? Saying, yeah, see for yourself. Looks a lot better than it was before, right? But then Nero can say, not too shabby. Honestly, we can probably clean this place up and possibly in the next couple of weeks or so. That's what I believe too. At any rate, why don't I get you home? Need to get May back to her folks' place too. But then he's saying, you guys go ahead. I think I'm gonna walk there actually. I could really use the time to myself. Nero can up and say, seriously? Alright, if you want to. But then, heading back to that of Nico's van, then saying, yo, Nico, let's head back. What then saying, what, you're not bringing your little bro here? Saying, nah, he said he wants to walk back. I think he just needs some time to think to himself. Saying, seriously, teenagers, so weirdos. For some weird reason, Nero saying, true that. As he enters into the van, but then Nico begins to drive off. With Izuku can help but say, oh, thank God. With then Nero mentally thinking, you just didn't want to drive with her again. Honestly, you'd just be lucky for that, little bro, that I bailed you out for that. And you owe me. As Nero couldn't help but cross his arms while Nico continues driving down the street. While Izuku basically stretches himself out saying, now then, time for a nice long stroll. As Izuku continues walking down the street, as he soon now arrives back at that of Masafu. As he continues thinking, okay, only got 4 months left before the entrance exam begins. With that of my devil theology abilities and everything else, I should be good to go. Nothing else to handle. Add that with I have 2 styles and even 1 devil arms, alongside that of the demon swords that Dad gave me too. I'm still pretty decent in that of my grades after all. Hell, to be honest, I could actually skip classes if I feel like it. But that would be pretty bad on my permanent record, so I think I'll keep that from that skipping classes on a minimum. Then Izuku thinks this. Before then, it begins to start to rain. Within realizing, seriously, right now, of all times? Oh well, good thing I always came prepared. As pulling out that of his yellow bag, he soon pulls out that of a spare umbrella, within opening it up, with now the rain basically off him. Even though with that of his devil physiology, he doesn't get sick that easily, but still, better not to be walking around soaked after all. While Izuku is getting closer and closer home, he soon runs by that of the park that he always used to play at, that of Bakugo and a few other kids back in the day. Part of them were old good memories, while the others, not so much, as those were years ago, before he even knew about his devil physiology, before he knew about him being a child of Sparta, a lineage that he is truly proud of. But then, as he was continue walking, he noticed somebody at that of the swings. As it continues to rain, he soon notices that of a girl with that of messy blonde buns, a large yellow cardigan that wearing over that of her school uniform, and also that of blue skirt that's pretty short, with that of puffy yellow knee socks, and that of brown loafers. As she's all alone under down this, oppressive rain. But then he's saying, why is somebody down here all by herself while it's raining? Not even bother going anywhere shade she's going to. But then Izuku, thinking he should just leave it be. However, the good person in him can't. And he sees somebody in trouble. Even if it's something as minor as this, he just can't help by and not do nothing. As he walks over to her, within soon, the girl couldn't help but mentally think, seriously, even the weather hates me too. This is the world that I'm in after all. A world where nobody wants me. Not my parents, not my fake friends, nobody. This is the life that I was forced into. Not a chance or anything. All because of my quirk. And all because of my love for blood. Why is it always like this? Then, as the girl closes her eyes, that's when the rain stops pouring down on her. Then she wonders what? Noticing the umbrella? Before looking over to that of her right side, she notices Izuku and his white-haired and green-eyed glory saying, sorry, you just look like you needed to get out of the rain. But then she's saying, what do you want? Before getting a better look at him, as she soon remembers that of a certain person she had a crush on, a certain person with messy hair, but it was black, while his is white. However, in her mind, in her lips moved before she could stop herself, saying, Saito? Well then, Izuku saying, sorry, but I'm not Saito, or this guy, or the guy that you think I am. Then, she's saying, yeah, kind of figured that after all. Well then, she looks down. Before then, Izuku realized, so, can I ask, why are you here all alone? In the middle of the rain? Basically pouring down on you? But then saying, seriously? Is it not obvious? And not mention, do you think I'm even interested? But then she can help but think, just because he looks like Saito doesn't mean he is. He's cute, but still. Saying, honestly, you look pretty sad and depressed there, to be honest. Within, she's saying, so that obvious. And you still came over me when you think I wanted to be around somebody. And as she says this, she soon begins to shift out of her left arm around that of the swing, as inside of the cardigan hides that of her personal knife, which is a box cutter. True, honestly, a sane person would probably just leave you be and whittle on your own sorrows. Within, she's saying, then Izuku saying, but then I'm not a normal person. When I see somebody that looks sad or looks in trouble, for some weird reason, I just can't stand it, and my body moves on its own without me thinking. You just look like you needed somebody to help you, or at least somebody to at least hear you out or something. So, within, Izuku, sitting on that of the wet swing covered in rain, while still holding out his umbrella around both of them together, but then saying, "Care to talk? I'm known to be a pretty good listener, after all, but understanding is kind of different, to be fair." But then, after hearing this, she couldn't help but be completely and utterly shocked as she looks at Izuku. Within, she's saying, "You're a weird guy, definitely. This is one hell of a way to pick up a girl after all you just met." But then, Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, "Trust me, I'm not trying to hit on you, after all. I kind of suck at it." Even though, given the many girls that pretty much pine for Izuku back at Aldera, he really does suck when it comes to picking up girls on purpose. So he just basically goes with it anyway, even though he's not interested in any girl right now romantically. But then she's saying, "Serious? Honestly, even so, you still think I'm willing to talk?" Saying, "Well, I won't know unless I try. Besides, sometimes just letting everything out on a stranger is a good way to vent, if I do say so." But then, hearing that, she can't help but sigh, saying, "Fine, whatever. What if I told you that I'm acting like this, I'm treated like this is because of my quirk?" But then, hearing that, Izuku basically felt like, right on the money. Figures as much. Quirks are everything in this world. So it wouldn't be surprising if her quirk is super weak or possibly villainous or not even capable. But then, soon she's saying, "My quirk, don't get mad. Will you basically stop talking to me or basically just walk away if you found out or be terrified of me if I tell you?" Saying, "Go for it." To me, any quirk is kind of is unique in its own way. But then she scoffed, saying, "Sure, whatever." But then she couldn't help but basically look up at that of the rainy night sky, then saying, "My quirk is called Transform. Turns out I'm able to transform into people. However, I'm only able to transform into them because of only one thing. I need to digest their blood to become them." As she says this, she's just waiting for the word of disgust. She's just waiting for it. Within, Izuku can't say, "That is awesome!" Within, she's saying, "What?" Before then, dropping the umbrella, and without thinking, he basically goes to that of his bag and pulls out his notebook, saying, "This is awesome! Absolutely amazing! A quirk that allows a person to transform? Just imagine! This would be the perfect quirk when it comes to hero work, after all. All you need to do is digest a person's blood and you become them. Espionage work with that of heroes, infiltrations, and everything else would be amazing. You would be one hell of a hero." Within, she can't help but be completely and utterly dumbfounded and shocked, saying, You don't think my quirk is disgusting? You don't think it's ugly or you call me a monster?" Within, Izuku hearing this, before realizing he's having rain on his notebook and putting it back because he was too focused, before then grabbing the umbrella, saying, "Why the hell would I think you're a monster or calling it a disgusting quirk when it's literally so damn useful? Any pro would kill for a quirk like that. Sure, you could say it's a downgrade having to drink blood just to transform, but to be honest, every quirk has their downgrade in one way or another. It's only natural, right?" But then, she can help but say, "How can you say that? How can you say something so kind and amazing, and yet... Then she gripping on that of the swing, while still being covered by the rain due to Izuku. But then saying, "Because I always see every potential when it comes to quirks. Why would you think it's that bad? I mean, were you being bullied because of your quirk?" Or within, she could help but basically leap up before having a look of pure and utter shock and anger. However, for a split second, she also could help but look straight at Izuku and see that of Saito, before her face begins to blush. Within, Izuku notices that, "Whoa, hey, you okay? You should, if you're not that easy. I mean, sure, you've been in the rain here for at least a good while. Then, before then, he notices that something begins to pull out of that of her cardigan. As soon as she grabs onto it, he notices that it's the box cutter knife. As she's about to swing down onto Izuku, he soon stops it with that of his hand and grabs the blade without even trying. But then, she's seeing the strong grip in his hands, but then saying, "Huh, I get it now. You're a villain, aren't you?" But then, she can help but be completely under shock and seeing the shift in that of Izuku saying, "And now it makes sense. Your quirk relies out of blood, all because to transform. And by your swing and by the way that you're acting, it's not that of a person basically glee and looking forward to drinking blood like that of bloodlust. No, that's the kind of look that you get when you basically want to when you want somebody's blood for the thirst. Your blood is changed out of your body's physiology. You need to drink blood because of your diet due to your quirk. Am I right?" But then she's saying, shut up, you don't know a damn thing." But then she trying to pull her knife out of Izuku's grip while his hand starts bleeding, even though his regeneration will basically cover the wound sooner than later. However, Izuku's not allowing that, saying, "I'm guessing something bad happened. Possibly your family done something to you, not allowing your quirk to fully reach its potential or allowing you to be who you are. Am I right?" Saying, "Shut up, you don't know anything." Saying, "But let me spitball here at least." But then, saying, you must have done something to your school. You wouldn't be just in that of your school uniform all alone by yourself unless something bad has happened. Am I right?" Saying, shut up. Izuku saying, "You killed somebody because you had to drink their blood. Because you snapped, didn't you?" But then, seeing the tears in her eyes, as she couldn't help but growl, and out of pure frustration and out of pure and utter strength, she pulled the box cutter knife from that of Izuku's hand. But then Izuku saying, right on cue, as she's about to stab him down, he grabs her hand with that of his left hand, before then putting her close to him, and without warning, basically put his right hand into that of her mouth, to her mouth, with that of the blood. As then she couldn't help but be completely and utterly shocked. In a split second and moment, that's when she begins to lick up the blood from that of his bloody hand. But then, in that of a pure and utter moment, she felt whole, completely at bliss, like that one moment when she drank Saito's blood. But not only that, unlike that of Saito's blood, Izuku's blood tastes delicious. Nothing that she's ever tasted before, even the blood of certain villains and people who basically come straight for her or try to use her or abuse her. Blood does not taste as good as Izuku's. As Toga feels true, utter euphoria. As she begins to slack out and no longer as tense as before. As Izuku lets go of that, as she also drops the knife. As she goes to her knees and begins to pant. Before then, Izuku, seeing that his hand is now fully healing, within saying, "There, feel a lot better now?" Within, she's saying, "Yeah, I am. Your blood was tasted so good, and you knew it. You did, and yet you didn't think. You just felt like," as Izuku cuts her off, saying, "Yeah, I felt like you needed blood. You looked like you were so down. The moment that I kept on pushing and pushing, I could tell that you were starting to feel more aggravated, which also possibly even caused you to thirst for even more blood. Now that you're at least more sane," but then seating back on that of the swing, but then saying, "Want to continue talking? I got at least a few more hours before my mom calls." and worries about me. Within, she couldn't help but basically be dumbfounded before laughing at that of Izuku. Within, she couldn't help but begin to smile, having that of a genuine, loving smile, saying, "You're a weird one." Within, she realized, "I don't even know your name," saying, "Yeah, it's Izuku. Izuku Midoriya." "And you are?" Within, she couldn't help but say, "Himiko. Himiko Toga. Nice to meet you, Izu." Within, Izuku realizing the shift in her tone, saying, "Nickname basis already? That's a little bit shocking." Then saying, "You're the first person that actually genuinely accepted me, and yet I'm a mere stranger. I think it's only necessary." Within, she having that of a genuine, kind-hearted, and loving smile towards Izuku. Within, Izuku couldn't help but think, her smile seems a lot more normal. Somewhat similar, and not even looking at me with same kind of look that all the girls from Naldera give me. But in a way, it seems more truly genuine than just wanting me. As Izuku could up with a smile saying, "So, Miss Himiko, tell me about yourself. Tell me what basically led you down this road." Within, she came up and say, "Okay, but my story is not for the faint of heart, Izu. You sure you want to hear it?" Saying, "Lay it on me." After that, for at least a good hour or so, Himiko began to go down that of her life and what she had to go through growing up. She didn't miss any details about it, as when her quirk fully manifested, it was only small bits of hunger here and there. She had an attraction towards blood, yeah, but it didn't seem too overwhelming as it was before. She just liked blood and liked drinking it. It made her feel happy, but her parents couldn't accept that. Her parents despised her quirk, despised her love for blood, despised the fact that her quirk basically needed blood. Even with going to that of quirk suppression counseling, they knew that blood had to be part of her diet, her dietary needs on what it means to live on. However, they didn't care. As long as she didn't have the urge to drink blood, that's all that matters to her parents and to the counselors. All they basically told her is that they wanted her to be normal. 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 Oh, that's all they ever wanted. A normal daughter. If it wasn't for her quirk, none of this would have happened. And just like that, she was normal for at least a good few years during junior high, until she had a crush on this one guy named Saito, the same guy that looked like Izuku. He got in a fight, defending somebody, got a bloody nose, and then, the very next day, she snapped. Basically asked her out, basically tried to ask him out. However, she was too afraid on what he would say when he found out about her craze and love for blood. And then she slit his throat and basically drank from it. That was the first kill she ever did. And soon after that, she's been on the run for months, hiding from the heroes and the police, while the news and her family demonize her for her actions, without even knowing the real Himiko Toga deep down who was suffering. But then, hearing all of this, Izuku and Himiko were talking this while they were walking, and while Izuku was still covering her with that of his umbrella. She couldn't help but say, "And that's my life. I've been basically wandering from city to city, alleyway to alleyway, staying in abandoned places. Only a few times I've been able to stay at hotels after killing my victims just to survive. And then when I was just so tired, exhausted, I came here. And then you came. A white-haired weirdo who basically just couldn't help but watch a person wallow in their sorrows. Man, Izu, you're a weird guy." But then Izuku saying, "Yeah, I get that a lot. Let's just say I want to be a hero. And to be honest, even if the media doesn't show it, and heroes don't like to tell it, I feel like heroes need to save everybody. it doesn't need to be physically, but it can also be emotionally as well. And it also doesn't need to be behind that of a camera to be shown, after all. Well, then, after saying that, she up say, I really hope that there were heroes like you, Izuku. The world needs more like you. But then, Izuku saying, I try. So, where are you going? Well, then, she can up say, don't know. I'll basically probably find somewhere to keep myself dry and from basically getting sick after all. I mean, you've been helping me out for at least a good few hours, saying, yeah. As he said that, that's when his phone begins finally going off multiple times, as it coming from that of his mom texting his phone constantly, and probably about to switch to that of phone calls right about now. As that's when his phone begins to start ringing, saying, there it is. Then, as he pulls out his phone, he was about to answer. Before then, that's when headlights begin to appear right in front of Izuku and Himiko. As for Himiko, her life looks like it's about to flash before her eyes. As for Izuku, having that of a deadpan look. Before then, the lights basically spin around them. Before then, stopping. As right in front of them being Nico's van. And opening out of the door, being that of Nico herself saying, you have a lot of explaining to do, Izuku. Within, Izuku saying, hey, Nico. Within, Nero saying, yeah, care to explain? As Nero says this over that out of the window, still sitting down, saying, as then noticing, and who is she? Then Izuku saying, right. You're gonna be in for a story, big brother. Within, Himiko saying, oh, you have a big brother, Izu? Within, nice to meet you. I'm Himiko. Within, both Nico and Nero saying, what the hell did we miss? Couple minutes later, with Izuku bringing Himiko to that of their home, with Inko basically where for Izuku, also shocked at that of Himiko, as Izuku has never brought a girl home before in his entire life. Explanations later, within both Izuku and Nero outside of the apartment, and over that of the balcony, within saying, so, you gave her your blood. Saying, yeah. Is that a problem? Saying, we're half demons. Well, quarter half demons at least. So who knows what our blood would do to that of a normal person if they drunk it, especially to a person whose quirk revolves around blood for that of their diet and their quirk alone. But then Izuku saying, I'm kind of worried. Does our blood basically cause some trouble? Saying, I've seen what happens when people basically alter their blood and use it without demon blood. And trust me, it's not pretty. However, you only gave her like a small drops of your blood from your hand before it fully healed, right? Saying, yeah, I did, just to satisfy her, so she would so she wouldn't have the hunger pains like she was a little while ago. That's why. But then he's saying, well, you did a good thing, but still somewhat stupid at the same time. But even so, what are you going to do with her? I mean, you already know that she's a killer, and in technical terms, she's a villain, basically, saying she's a villain by circumstances, not a real villain. If her parents genuinely actually loved her like they should, because a parent should care for their children, then she wouldn't have been in this situation to begin with. Within, Nero looking at his little brother, within Izuku seeing the look on his brother, saying, sorry, big bro, saying, nah, it's fine, I'm just being an ass. For the fun of it, at least, saying, yes, you are, you ass. Then, Nero couldn't help but laugh it off a bit. Before then, leaning on that of the railing of over that of the apartment complex, before then saying, but in all seriousness, we do need a place for her to stay. She's literally a wanted criminal, and just by explaining the situation about her quirk and everything isn't going to help. So, but then Izuku saying, so what? But then Nero saying, I think I can probably find some people to help out. But for the meantime, she can stay with me and Nico. Even though, well, Miss Inko is okay with her staying, I can tell. But I don't think it's safe for her to be here with you here. Saying, and why is that? Within, Nero giving that of a look. Within saying, you can't be this naive, Izuku. Saying, naive about what? Within, Izuku finally coming to his realization, saying, oh, I would never. It's not, I mean, weird. Within, Nero saying, oh God, it's so weird to see you not stuttering in a while now. God, I really enjoyed that. But still, all seriousness, Izuku, let us look after Himiko for the time being. You still got an entrance exam alongside Mei to worry about. For the meantime, while we're taking care of jobs, we'll also find a place and somebody to help out her. Within, Izuku couldn't help but sigh before smiling, saying, thanks, Nero. I really appreciate it. Within, placing his hand on that of Izuku's right shoulder, saying, hey, what are family for? As he pats it a few times before heading back inside. However, little did they know, when Nero opens the door, Himiko was there. Within, she's saying, so, you really want to help me? Within, Nero closing the door, saying, look, I know Izuku's a good guy. He really has that whole hero and wanting to protect people mentality and not wanting to see people suffer. Within, Himiko saying, yeah, it's what makes him so cool and awesome. Within, he pulls out that of Blue Rose, pointing the double barrel revolver in her face, saying, so I'm going to make this clear. Try anything against my little brother, and I will kill you. He's the only blood family I got left in this godforsaken world, and I refuse to allow you to get in the way of that. Got it. Within, Himiko couldn't help but say, aw, that's adorable. You're a pretty overprotective big brother, Nero. Don't worry, I won't hurt Izu. As she grabs that of the gun before tilting it down, but then saying, besides, I would do anything for Izu if he asked for it, as long as I can drink his blood again. And I mean anything, Nero. But then, as she says that, she soon walks off. But then, Nero saying, oh boy, hope you enjoy having a yandere around you, Izuku, because I do not envy you one bit. But then, as Nero puts away that of his revolver before walking back into the living room. As another day comes to an end, little did Izuku know he would gain the most important and precious person that would be involved in his life. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. Sorry that this wasn't an action-packed chapter or anything like that. I just basically wanted a way to set up that of Himiko basically being part of Izuku's life after all, given that she's also one of his main love interests in this What If. And the reason on why I basically had to give that little warning at the beginning was because of Himiko. In a way, this is basically a way to solve that little dilemma that I put on that of my channel, saying on what if Izuku met Himiko early on. In a way, that part basically answers that question, to be fair. Just give it a more half-demon Izuku, though, so yeah. Not to mention, Himiko is not with the heroes yet. She's with Izuku. She'll do anything for Izuku and help him out. So that means, who could say in the future, that the League of Villains may have a little mole in their midst. But hey, who could say? At any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded on the channel. Also, please go on my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care. Finish it off, my Shiro.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!